What possible link could there be between the wild days of the Fiesta of San Fermin, where young bulls are set loose in the streets of Pamplona, and the quiet, meticulous work of a violin maker, replacing their strings and thus holding the perfection of the sound created by the world's most expensive musical instrument? The link is Pablo de Sarasate, a native of the Basque Country. From the balcony of his room at the Hotel La Perla, he enjoyed every moment of these San Fermin days. His room has been kept intact ever since. A lover of Basque culture, the violin virtuoso never missed a single San Fermin fiesta after he became famous. Every year his name appeared on the poster of the fiesta to announce his appearances in concert. Pablo de Sarasate was born in 1844 at the heart of the city of Pamplona, a child prodigy, violin virtuoso, and an inspired composer. George Bernard Shaw once said that there are many composers for violin, but very few composed violin music like Sarasate. Hence his famous Zigeunerweisen, which became a concert standard and is performed here in Tokyo by Roby Lakatosh.
A great violinist is like a sort of genius. Many symbols come to mind when thinking of the violin. To the violinist and to great artists like Pablo de Sarasate or Paganini, he is the hero. He is the one who will captivate the audience. I would say that even before a violinist begins to play, the moment he holds his violin and gets ready to play, the audience is already mute and totally focused. Even a non-specialist, a music lover, knows that the extreme difficulty of playing the violin is that it all rests on just a few strings, and that an unfortunate bow movement can jeopardize this magic moment.
Roby Lakatosh, a famous Hungarian virtuoso of gypsy origin, is one of the finest performers of Sarasate's work. We meet him at the Hotel de Paris in Monaco, where he's expected to perform a series of concerts. He talks about the relationship between the violinist and his instrument. Roby Lakatosh plays a Guarnerius del Gesù, valued at more than €1 million.
Well, the violin is obviously not like a piano, because if you sit at a piano, you can see all the notes on the keyboard. On the violin, there is nothing to see but 4 strings. So you have 4 basic notes. This makes playing the violin so difficult. It really is a question of habit. And to get that habit, one must work very hard. To play the violin very well, it is common knowledge that 6 or 7 hours practicing a day are needed. That is the only way to get the habit. When I was 2 or 3 years old, I was already playing the violin. I used to listen to music at home, and I tried to find the notes of the tunes I liked on the violin, and then I played. But not as well as it should have been, of course. To learn how to play the violin, one must start at the age of 5 or 6 maximum, and go to an academy or to a professor. What is very difficult is to learn the right way of holding the instrument, to find the finger positions. This hurts a lot, and that is a real problem for a child. Then, and only after that, it becomes a real pleasure to play a part without pain.
Pablo's father was a regimental bandmaster and amateur violinist. While practicing one day, he had some difficulty with a complicated passage. Pablo, aged 5 at the time, listened with growing impatience till his irritated father asked him to play. Pablo performed the passage brilliantly. Humiliated, his father never again touched his violin and developed a growing acrimony towards his son. At the age of 8, Pablo received a Stradivarius from the Spanish Queen Isabel II. He would own up to 3 Stradivarius during his lifetime.
A Stradivarius violin is pure magic. It is like a Guarnerius, for instance. It is magic because it is very old, very ancient. There is an obvious sound difference between a new and a 300-year-old violin, but a Stradivarius is magic because it has the perfect shape. Of course, it does not make music by itself. One must play it. But playing on a Stradivarius or a Guarnerius is a real pleasure.
The history of the violin is very important, very precious. An extraordinary evolution took place leading to the present-day violin. The violin makers know that everything is of importance. The quality of the wood, the quality of the glue, the varnish.
This violin has a very great power compared to its size. It is a very small size. It is a ½ centimeter shorter than the normal size. It is a 3500 violin. But the power of its sound is very great.
When Pablo was 12, his mother took him to Paris to complete his education. They took the train, but at the French border in Bayonne, Senora Sarasate had a fatal heart attack. The doctor who attended her discovered that Pablo had cholera. He was taken in and cared for by the Spanish consul. Cured, but now alone, the young Sarasate arrived in Paris. His professor, the famous Delphin Allard, took care of him, treating him as his own son. At 17, Sarasate easily won the first prize of the conservatory and became the favorite of Paris audiences. His virtuosity, his sense of melody, and his presence and gallantry as a traditional Spanish caballero worked wonders on an entranced audience.
Up to the 19th century, three countries were musically influential: Italy for its melody, France for its descriptive aspect, and Germany for polyphony or work with several voices. Then, suddenly in the 19th century, thanks to Romanticism, all sorts of nationalism emerged. In every country one discovers its wonderful folklore and extraordinary traditional music, particularly in Spain with the rota in Aragon, the bolero, the seguedí, the fandango in the center of Spain. Then there is the habanera in Andalusia. The whole of the south of Spain is rather influenced by Moresque's overtones. The Catalonia in the north of Spain is very close to France and so is influenced by French style. Music composers of the end of the 19th century will measure the importance of this traditional folkloric wealth, and in an almost natural way, it will become part of their music.
I can talk about the Tzigan's history, which is probably, well, I think the same applies to Sarasate. When they arrived in Europe, they stayed in their host country, and they've adapted their music to these countries. For instance, the Hungarians have adapted their traditional Hungarian music, and so gave birth to a Hungarian Tzigan music. So it happens in Romania, in Germany, in France, for instance, and especially in Spain. There is a specificity, a very particular style in Sarasate's music. It is Spanish Tzigan. I'll play the Chardash. Everybody knows that piece. It's weird because it is known as real Tzigan music, but it does not have Tzigan origin at all. But it's very well known.
Certainly, Pablo de Sarasate had a tremendous influence, especially in France. Moreover, his main address was in Paris. His constant tours brought him throughout Europe, and he enjoyed extraordinary success, particularly in France. One must not forget that he studied with the great Professor Allard, and that his strong personality demanded respect, demanded enthusiasm, and left vivid memories in the heart and spirit of his audience. In fact, he was in a way the ambassador of Spanish music, in France most particularly.
Sarasate had a sumptuous apartment in Paris at 112 Boulevard Malesherbes. He asked the English painter James Whistler to decorate it for him in the most fashionable way. Whistler would paint the best portrait of Sarasate ever made. Besides his own compositions, Sarasate became the creator and instigator of other French successes, such as Carmen by Bizet. Saint-Saëns dedicated his Rondo Capriccioso to Sarasate, as did Lalo with his Spanish symphony. Both were close friends of Sarasate.
Letter from Edouard Lalo to Pablo de Sarasate, Paris, 24th of November, 1877. You know how much affection I have for you, and how happy I am to see you're experiencing growing success. Madame Montigny told me your triumphs are without precedent, and you're treated everywhere as royalty. Rubinstein just told me the same thing, and all this news is causing a little stir here, whereas we have the bad habit of not caring about what happens abroad. Letter from Edouard Lalo to Pablo de Sarasate, Paris, 21st of November, 1878. The alliance of a solo violin with the different tones of the orchestra is very hard to get if you are to avoid sounding flat and insignificant. And as you know, I've not yet written a piece you're playing without improving it immensely after the first rehearsal. Please, would you be kind enough to listen to the orchestra very carefully and send me your ideas and comments? I trust your judgment. As for you, I know what the lion of the violin can do. You play this like a fanatical devil, and I know it will be a huge success.
The malagueña is one of the Spanish musical forms in Spain which belongs to the group of free forms. As we have talked about previously, there are a whole lot of dances and songs, like the segadí, the fandangos, that are of strict forms. That means there is a kind of structure that the music fits into. Then there is everything that is similar to the flamenco style. And finally there is the malagueña. Those melodies or those songs or dances are much more of a free style. That would mean that one can get into the realm of variation. One can even reach the realm of improvisation. And that is really wonderful, because violinists who love, play and know the Spanish music often have that warm heart which urges them to heighten the given score by improving it in a subtle way. The violin is a truly wonderful instrument. It emphasizes the melody. It comes very close to the human voice. The violin can do everything, and in the case of the malagueñas and flamenco, it can make you dream.
Sarasate is the composer who made the most spectacular use of pizzicato and staccato to imitate the guitar and mandolin. Unlike the famous Paganini, he used them only for violin. Sarasate knew how to evoke any musical style and became the master of this technique, blending bow movements and fingering. Thanks to him, the whole world would discover this technique, including the United States and South America.
This is a part of the Zigeunerweisen, where many pizzicati are used like that. I like playing the pizzicati very much. I really enjoy using a lot of it. I invent many things with the pizzicati. I like it so much. It is very Tsigan. Well, in a kind of way, it's a bit like the balalaika or Spanish guitar. It sounds like that. A kind of arpeggio. It's very interesting.
I believe that really great artists like Sarasate or Paganini have always been surrounded with an extraordinary aura that can sometimes evoke fear. I do not think it was the case with Sarasate, but nevertheless Paganini was eventually seen as diabolic, even to the extent that it became a real problem to find him a burial place, as many Italian villages did not want to have the devil in their soil.
This was not the case for Sarasate, who remained forever the darling of Pamplona. He would always stay there for a month just after the San Fermin fiesta. French by adoption and attached to his Basque origins, he bought a villa in Biarritz. He named it Villa Navarra. It was there that he passed away at the end of the summer of 1908.
This is an authentic recording of Pablo de Sarasate, made in 1904, and I suggest we listen to a part of it. I think that it is absolutely unique. I mean, he makes mistakes. He even plays sometimes out of tune. But it is so good. His style is so unique. And I feel that his tempo is unique as well. Listen to his rhythm. He always moves forward. It clearly shows that he has a frenetic temperament. The same applies to Toscanini, for instance. When you listen to Toscanini, it's obvious that he wants to go faster and faster and faster. But more than that, Sarasate has an extraordinary technique. It is splendid. After listening to that, I'd better stop playing the violin, I think as many other violinists would, because you cannot equal such a style. It's unbelievable. It's clearly unique.